This video is sponsored by Insta360.
Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. This is an exciting one because I have my hands on the Insta360 X4. This is an insanely capable 360 camera, as you can see right now, and I'm shooting in the brand new 8K mode. And I know what you guys are thinking. I've talked about it here on the channel, most notably around shooting with smartphones, because I don't personally think that 8K is actually that useful, except when you're working with a 360 camera. This is the one time where that 8K resolution becomes insanely important, because you can go up to a scale like this, or you could go down to a scale like this, and you have tons of resolution to work with. So all of those zoom potentials become insanely useful because you're able to use that resolution to your advantage. So as we go for a little bit of a hike up this hill here, right now I'm shooting with the invisible selfie stick. So you guys hopefully can't see any reference to the selfie stick that I'm using right now. And the cool thing is, this goes all the way out here. You can get a pretty panoramic view even with this small selfie stick, and that's before we even get to the extra long selfie stick, which we will talk about a little bit later. The Insta360 X4 has been out for a few weeks now, so I'm not going to kind of deep dive into each individual spec and each individual functionality. But what I actually think is interesting, and I think it's an interesting angle for this video, is I have never actually owned a 360 camera. I have worked with them on projects, I've used them in professional work, and I will of course talk about that a little bit later. But I want to kind of share my perspective on my thoughts of the X4, how much is it impressing me as a 360 camera, and just like someone who's a bit of a camera nerd, how much of a cool experience this is. Just look at that. Like, this is so sick. Obviously, in addition to being used like almost like a vlogging setup, you can of course use this as a action camera, so it's insanely versatile. I've never used the Insta360 as an action camera. Like I said, I've previously used them on production shoots and not for this type of thing, so this was a super cool experience. I was strapped to my handlebars, but then I also did some stuff with it taking on the invisible selfie stick, and you just get so many variations in angles. This was actually an AI edit done from inside the Insta360 app, and that's basically done within 10 seconds. Like, you just load in the footage, tap AI edit, and then it spits out something which just actually looks really, really cool and saves a whole bunch of time. What's actually pretty cool now is they have an option for a single lens mode, and this has been upgraded to 4K 60 frames per second on the Insta360 X4. And what this basically does is, like, on times where you just want to almost like run this like a standard action camera, you can do this using this mode. You don't have to kind of reframe anything, and obviously the mode looks great in terms of performance. This is just great to see because it's just additional value within one camera. All right, so I don't really know why I thought that doing this uphill was necessarily a good idea, but we've got the invisible selfie stick here, just using the internal microphone. I'm gonna have to really concentrate to make sure I don't fall here. But the invisible selfie stick should hopefully be disappearing right now. So that is a pretty sick feature, because you can kind of get this full perspective on what you're shooting without necessarily kind of like an interruption in the flow. You're just seeing this kind of big selfie stick in the shot. All right, so back in the office now, let's talk about the Insta360 X4. My overwhelming kind of first impressions, first experience with owning a camera like this have been just how fun this is to use. And I think over previous iterations of this camera, the fact that this one shoots 8K means this is almost like the best choice possible for a camera like this. Because as I've already mentioned, the ability to reframe your shots basically just kind of goes through the roof. You get that much more data to play with, and you're able to really take the shots that you can get to the next level because of that available data that you have inside every single frame. I'll give you a very quick example of how I used this previously on a job. So I did a campaign over at Longley Zoo, which is a zoo here in the UK. It was with my friend Tommy, Gadgets Boy, and basically what we had to do is drive around the safari, and we mounted one of these Insta360s on the top of the car that we were going through. So obviously, first of all, that wouldn't have been possible with a normal camera because you'd always have to guarantee the shot, whereas with the Insta360, you are ensuring that you are capturing absolutely everything surrounding the camera, which is just invaluable for a particular use case like this. And then we were able to get all of these insane interactions with the animals. We have like giraffes licking the lenses, all of that type of thing. It was just absolutely amazing. And the fact is that that footage would have looked that much better on this camera because there was almost, you know, double the resolution to be able to play with in the 8K sensor. Take this shot, for example. This was literally just yesterday. You wouldn't have got this absolute gold of me getting a fly in my eye. Because I was filming forward, I wouldn't normally have that, but you can see my immediate reaction here. Oh my god. The X4 has come out with a couple of really useful new inclusions. The first thing I want to talk about is these removable lens guards. So they literally act almost like a lens cap on your camera. You can just slide them off like that and then they just attach. And obviously the huge advantage of that is the fact is that these cameras, they're not cheap. You don't want to scratch those lenses and have to replace those lenses. So those little plastic inserts are much, much cheaper to deal with replacements. If you were to kind of use this in a more rugged situation, get a scratch on one of those covers, you can just replace the cover instead of the actual lens itself. And another is, this is actually something which I experienced when I was actually testing the camera in the first place. I hadn't figured out this particular feature, but basically you have AI gesture controls. So to record now on the Insta360, when you're on one of these long selfie sticks, you're obviously not going to want to hit record on the unit itself the whole time. So you can just go like this. You hold your hand up just like that and you will start recording a video, and you can even go like that and it will take a photo and give you a countdown to take a photo. So here's a little demo of how this works in the wild. So obviously you hold up your selfie stick, literally just do the gesture, and then the Insta360 will start recording or take a photo depending on the gesture that you do. It makes using these selfie sticks even easier. And speaking of those selfie sticks, not only do they have, of course, that invisible selfie stick that we've talked about, they also have this extra long selfie sticks. That's this one here. It's absolutely huge and goes up to 3 meters in length. But what that means is it allows you to basically be able to replicate a drone. And like, no joke, this is the closest I've ever got to drone footage without actually using a drone in the first place. The level of reach combined with the kind of unique perspective of the 360 camera just gives this insane field of view. I think genuinely for almost like just slightly more casual users, this could totally replace a drone for a lot of situations where you're not wanting to do like absolutely like crazy sky high stuff. I just want to very quickly demo the AI editing because it is genuinely pretty crazy. So you go to up to auto edit here. We're going to scroll down and we're going to go to just one of the clips, click next. It's going to analyze the scene here. And then you can see it's basically made this edit here. I'm going to change that to a 16:9. Let's turn off the kind of text previews. And this is what it produced. Something that also impressed me during my testing with this camera is the battery life. I was kind of expecting the battery life to be a bit mediocre considering it's shooting with an 8K sensor, but I was really proven wrong. You actually get 135 minutes of recording time using this camera, which is 67% increase on the last generation of camera. So that is a massive bump. That just frees you up in terms of flexibility, not having to worry about battery life so much. And that will increase as you go down the resolution. So if you were struggling with battery life, you can always go down to those 4K modes, which obviously will still record a fantastic picture, but you're going to get a little bit longer in terms of battery life because the camera's not working quite so hard. All right, so what do I think about the Insta360 X4? Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed using this camera. I think it is a fantastic tool to have in our camera bags as creators. I think the really useful thing is because of this reframing ability and this new 8K sensor, it basically makes it a far more viable choice for more professional productions. So that's for professional productions, but what about kind of casual creators? And the fact is, this is even more of a viable choice now. You can actually shoot in the style of kind of vlogging format like I was doing at the start of this video, but then you can also use it as an action camera. Basically, there's just a whole load of potential use cases that you can use this camera for now. And the main thing is it's just a whole bunch of fun. You can do a whole variety of stuff, use it for like kind of like drone replicating shots. If the main objective is to just enjoy the creation process, this is a really sick camera to be able to do that with. So that's that. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to Insta360 for sponsoring this one. I absolutely love sharing camera gear with you guys, and this is a particularly cool one, so hopefully you guys do agree. And I'll catch you guys next time.